This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. It's Thursday, December 9th, 2021. Let's talk about the news. From Axios, booster doses more effective at blocking Omicron, says Pfizer and biotech. There was a mixed bag announcement from Pfizer and biotech yesterday, in which they said a full 2-shot dose of their COVID-19 vaccine is still effective against the Omicron variant, but substantially less so than against other known variants. They also said a 3-dose boosted regimen of 2 initial doses plus a 3rd booster shot seems to be substantially more effective against all known variants, including Omicron. There were a flurry of Omicron-related announcements yesterday, including that there's been a surge in people seeking boosters where they're available, and that there may be a new version of Omicron with a few mutation tweaks that make it more difficult to detect with currently available COVID tests. But much of the news suggested that our available tools, including our current vaccines, will be effective against Omicron once they're boosted, which is far from ideal, but also a fair distance from some of the worst-case scenarios that have been on the table since this variant was first discovered. From BBC News, Germany's Olaf Schulz takes over from Merkel as Chancellor. Olaf Schulz has been formally sworn in as Germany's new chancellor, replacing Angela Merkel after 16 years in office at a fairly tumultuous moment in global and European history. Schulz's party, the Social Democrats, are center-left on the political spectrum, compared to Merkel's center-right Christian Democrats. And his party will govern alongside the Free Democrats and Green Party, which is expected to shift the country somewhat leftward, though much of what they've promoted as their collective policy ambitions are fairly well supported throughout Germany, like phasing out coal earlier than planned and building more renewable energy infrastructure, alongside efforts to tackle COVID at home and globally. And from Reuters, gunmen torch bus, kill 30 passengers in Nigeria's Sokoto state. At least 30 people were killed by unidentified gunmen in the Nigerian state of Sokoto on Tuesday when the gunmen stopped a bus and set it on fire, killing nearly everyone aboard. This is only the most recent atrocity committed by groups that have kidnapped hundreds of school children for ransom and murdered hundreds of locals in rural Nigeria over the past few years. These groups raid villages and attack commuters traveling on the country's highways, and though the government and police have said they'll find and stop them, they tend to hit and run, ride around on speedy motorbikes, and hide out in forests, so the task has thus far been too much for law enforcement to handle. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com, and you can support this and other related projects like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts at understandery.com.